Many small businesses have shut their doors, but the bills are still piling up. The Small Business Administration launching a program to try to assist, but many lenders are now voicing their own concerns and doubts, calling the S.B.A.'s expectations unrealistic. Joining us right now to talk about is Huntley Garriott. He's the president of Live Oak Bank. Live Oak Bank is the largest S.B.A. lender by lending volume in the country. We appreciate you joining us, Huntley. Tell us about how this program is or is not going to work, because we're hearing from so many small businesses and also lenders that say that they're either not going to participate, at least today, and the question is when.
Good morning. The administration's had a really challenging, to get this right, and they've done an incredible job over the last couple of weeks trying to put a plan in place that gets money to small businesses first and foremost, but balances the need for speed. As businesses that are shut are, obviously struggling every day, with the administration and the policy demands around fraud and making sure they get this right. And by having the banks administer this, it does have a massive distribution network in place. But the S.B.A. programs, do have certain policies and rules that have to be, sort of followed. And so getting those rules and that policy set, I think we got all the rules we needed last night, the final application. And so, the banking industry is hitting the ground running this morning.
Well, so what is your expectation about the banking industry hitting the ground running this morning? Because there is a sense among some of the bigger banks, biggest banks, I know you've worked with the S.B.A. for a long time, a lot of the other banks have not, about how quickly they're actually going to be able to onboard people, especially those who haven't historically had an account in certain cases at a particular bank.
Right. So the KYC and know your customer requirements are very real. And so for a bank with existing customers, that will be, an easier lift than it will be to reach out to new customers. And as you said, we've been in the S.B.A. business and, very active in it. So we feel really comfortable with the program and the rules, and different banks are going to have to react to that and figure out, be comfortable with the documentation, be comfortable with the calculation of payroll, the calculation of forgiveness that's going to come, and then ultimately the government guarantee that stands behind that loan.
So just on a very practical basis, you get these guidelines last night. You said that you guys are up and running today. For what you know about the rest of the industry and just how quickly and how easily or difficult, challenging it might be for them in terms of days, I hope not weeks, is your expectation that some of the big banks that aren't necessarily on board this morning will be so by Monday?
So I think the administration did a really good job of simplifying the rules. And I think that once people, kind of get their arms around that, the amount of documentation is pretty minimal. Once you get the requirements around the payroll calculation figured out, that can happen pretty efficiently with the right documentation to verify. And I expect that by the first part of next week, you're going to see banks, working to make these loans pretty quickly.
But just walk through some of the practical implications for small businesses out there. If you are a small business owner today, you own a restaurant or even a mid-sized business, you should do what? You should be calling your banker and asking for what? Yeah,
so, I think small businesses are making tough choices every day as it relates to, employees, as it relates to rent, as it relates to utilities, all sorts of, sort of decisions that they have to make around conserving cash and weathering this storm. I think for a lot of small businesses, this is a very good program. 2.5 months of payroll is the loan amount of monthly payroll is the loan amount, and over an 8-week period, you test. The amount of payroll that you've paid out, plus you have a basket of about 25% of that money to pay off other things like rent and utilities, and that loan can be forgiven if you can, document that you spent that money. So for a lot of businesses, this will be a very, very good program, and they should be talking to their bank.
Huntley, let me ask you a question. If you run a retail operation of some sort and your expectation is that you may not be back to 100% or even 50% in 3 months from now, and you're saying to yourself, do I want to keep these people, meaning my employees, on board? Do I want to furlough them? Can I bring them back? But I don't think my business is necessarily going to come back as quickly as you might need to make the loan work properly. What is the bank saying on the other end of that?
Yeah, we've been talking to all of our existing customers and fielding a lot of inbounds. it really is a case-by-case basis. There's no perfect answer for whether or not you're better off with this program and retain those employees. We've heard some small businesses say, gosh, if I can do that, I'll have them work on my store and my restaurant, and we'll, do some, minor construction work, things like that. We've had others that have really said, look, it just doesn't make sense for me. I don't believe I can put people back on payroll that quickly, or whether it makes sense or not. I need money for utilities. I need money for rent. I need money to pay my mortgage. And that's a harder conversation, because if it's not forgiven, then this does turn into a loan. And again, in some cases, that loan may be valuable for a customer too, but it really is a case-by-case decision. And we've been talking to all of our customers and others that have been calling us trying to help with that advice.